ultimate cheerleaders. And we got a lot to cheer about tonight, don't we?
Do. Oh my gosh, Judy, can you believe $4.2 million the first year we did this together?
Yes.
$705,000.
I remember, Joanne, and and what a milestone year, 10 years now. And I remember the first time we hit $1 million, and I was thinking to myself, will we be able to do that again? And you look at the way this has grown, I think it just speaks to, the heart of our community, of course, but I think people are looking for a way to have an impact. I think people are looking for the best in our community, and Midlands gives us all an opportunity to be a part of that.
Oh my
it's
goodness.
so amazing.
They are. Investing for impact.
Yeah.
And the numbers of the donations is up significantly too. So again, they're reaching out. I think they realized over the last numbers of years the true impact that nonprofits have on their lives.
They do.
Everything from education to that animal you rescue to healthcare to the arts, things that make life vibrant.
Well,
so yes.
And you know what, that's such a great point, because I think, we reflect, especially coming out of COVID, and, you think about all of the changes that we had to make, right? And how it changed our lives. And I think that also gave people an appreciation for the way these nonprofits fill the gap. And we saw friends, family members in our schools, in our offices, in our church community, so many people that you never would have expected were in those gaps that we really weren't aware of. And now, obviously this $4 million number, it's amazing. It's like, it's just incredible. But what really just gives me goosebumps is I think about the number of people who are donating, but then the awareness for these nonprofits. Because I've been in the Midlands now almost 30 years, and every year we do this, I learn something new about an organization or somebody in this community who's doing great work that I had not heard about before.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think that's one of the magical things about Midlands Gives, that over 30% every single year of the donations are first-time donations to an organization. So as you say, folks may not know Big Homie, Little Homie.
Right,
but when they are scrolling through to do their shopping on our Amazon of nonprofits, they can find these things, and it's so easy because they can shop by category, they can shop by county.
Right.
But it does, and the shout outs that nonprofits give one another, when we talk to them, it's been fabulous.
Well, and the other thing that's great about Midlands Gives is, and the boys came with me bright and early this morning, and they've been talking about it all day. So as a mom, to hear them talk about the fact that they shared at school, not that they were on TV this morning, but the organizations that they picked. And they had conversations with their friends, about why that was important to them, and learning about other ways that they can volunteer. And you know what, did we always have the button on there about wanting to volunteer? Did I just miss that before?
I think it's fairly new, the last couple years, so it is something
I thought that was great today, and I was like, maybe I skipped over that before, but I saw that in terms of the volunteer hours, for people to be willing to make a commitment to say, you know what, I'll show up 5 hours over the course of a month or a few months, or 10 hours or whatever. That gives you an opportunity, as I like to say, put hands and feet to action. It's great to make the donation, but to show up in person and do the work, that matters so much too.
Well, we've talked a lot today about time, talent, treasure, and testimony.
Yes,
your boys going back to school, talking about the organizations that they wanted to support. When their friends heard them talking about it, I suspect they were curious and they wanted to learn more. They, don't have the ability to pull a credit card out of their pocket in middle school, but, well, maybe they do.
With these phones, these transactions, we see kids making purchases on Amazon. They just click that button. So
all the time.
But they did talk about it today.
They can talk about it, which is great. Well, how do you use Midlands Gives to teach your boys to give?
Well, I don't know if you remember this. Years ago, you gave us a little, I think it was a game.
The
where you
card game, talk
you remember
about
that?
Giving.
Yes. Joanne, we have used that over the years to talk about giving when we're gathered around the table, whether it's for breakfast, because we like to have a little, morning meditation, something to start the day off on the right note, so we may use it there, or at dinner time, or I'll tell the boys to sit and have a conversation by themselves. And so when this comes around, they look at the website, and that's the other great thing about it. When you read about the organization, you don't just read about the mission of it, which is great, right? But there's specifics in there about how they're going to use the money this year. And so I think about Homeless No More. You know, in the past they've used it to provide a playground. You know, this year they're using it to try and make sure that they can sustain their summer programs. You think about other organizations like Big Homie, Little Homie, and other organizations like Tajaski that are going to provide other summer opportunities for kids and scholarships for those, again, filling the gap, right? And so the boys were able to look at those descriptions to see not only about the organization, but how the money was going to be used. And I love when the organizations put down, I think it was the Hive that said, you know what, it'll provide one night of stay for a survivor. And it can be very specific. So for the kids, they have a very concrete, idea of how that money is being used. It's not just like $10 disappeared out of my piggy bank. And then when you see the stories on WIS and all of the other, you know, media partners, you see how that money is being used. So not only do you make the donation, you see the manifestation in our community, the benefit, and we see those stories about the people who are being impacted and the lives that are being changed. That story gets told all year long.
And so for our viewers, you can go to midlandsgives.org and you can open up any one of the 575 participating nonprofits and read about them. Read their story, read what they're going to give the monies to, get an idea of their mission.
Yes. And you know what? I want to put a challenge out. I'm trying to pull it up right now because I should have had this pulled up before we got on. But here's my challenge. When I looked at the leaderboard coming in, I always go to the very end. And we had, when I last checked, about 10 organizations who are waiting for their first donation. Let me tell you something. To be the person to make that donation, as we're getting down to within about 90 minutes now of closing out this year's Midlands Gives campaign, to be the person to give that organization their first donation at this hour of the night, just as a vote of confidence, to give them inspiration, you know, because these new ideas next year, and you know it's bigger and better, and they think about their impact. There were about 10 organizations, so you know, 10 times 10, $100. You know, if we can get 10 people to go and donate at least $10 to those organizations, to make sure that every single organization has at least one donation, and if we can even top that, get a friend to go in with you and match that. That's what I hope we can accomplish tonight before we close it out.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Well, let's do that then. Let's try to do that. Again, go look at the leaderboard. And as you're looking at the leaderboard, pick your favorites as well. You know, take a look at how can you support those organizations that have touched your lives. So that's really key and critical.
It really is. I see a few comments on our Facebook page. Linda Davis says, awesome. 7 new donors, she says they got, so they're grateful for that. Good. Isn't that amazing? Power in Changing, they do such great work as well. They said it was a great day, amazing for the nonprofits and Healthy Learners. They've always been near and dear to my heart too, because Healthy Learners is an organization not only to close the insurance gap, but when you think about kids, if there's a toothache or a medical issue, there's so many families in our community, especially in some of our districts right here in the Midlands, where for a parent to take off to take that child to a medical appointment, I mean, that's a loss of income. They don't have that time. They don't have that paid time off or PTO, or you know, it's a big challenge for them, something that we take for granted. It's like, okay, let me just run and pick them up. They don't have the luxury and convenience of that, and Healthy Learners provides that transportation. They meet that need so that parents don't have to worry about that. And you know, kid can't concentrate if they're in school with a toothache, or they can't see the board, you know, and sitting back there. So they step up. Healthy Learners make sure that our kids are healthy learners. So I love that.
Which is great. Again, today has been incredible. We're at over 4.2 million.
Wow.
Over 4.2 million.
Look at that leaderboard go. Y'all are doing it.
It's just creeping up. It is just
amazing.
Amazing.
And look at the volunteer hours. That's what we were just talking about. More than 18,833 volunteer hours. So you think about the impact of those people showing up, following through on that commitment between now and next year on Midlands Gives. That is transformational for our community.
It absolutely
is. Just thinking about that alone, oh my gosh.
Well, because once they volunteer with someone, they are going to truly be an advocate and an ambassador for that organization.
Absolutely.
And the donations are clicking up too. We're getting close to 21,000 donations.
I love it. I got to give a shout out to Web Girls. I see, I love what they do, the coding and getting girls involved in that. But they've done some workshops and stuff for parents too, because you know what? Let me speak for myself. I don't want to speak for all parents. My boys are way more technology proficient than I am, and the internet and all of that stuff. But to have those skills and that confidence in the classroom and have that transfer over. So Web Girls, I'm going to do my best to slide. You know, I always slide my donation in. You're one of my favorites each and every year. So look at you posting the link for me. Thank you.
There you go.
I will tap that link. I will tap that link before midnight.
Bambi is that technology
I know,
expert.
I know. And I hope you guys will share the post, tag some of your favorite nonprofits, encourage your friends to end the night on a good note. There is something about, I mean, no matter what you've been through today, no matter how tough it might have been today, or, you know, whatever the frustrations of the day were, the best way to make that all wash away is to do something good for somebody else. You know, and I love to decompress and have that meditation time, but, you know, to just click that donation button one more time, you know, for one of these organizations that really means something to you, or to give that first donation to an organization that hasn't gotten that notification yet. What a great way to end the night and to celebrate Midlands Gives and all of the volunteers, all of the nonprofits who have just, I mean, my goodness, y'all have done the work. I applaud all of you for the work that you do in our community each and every day.
Well, and here we are 10 years.
10 years.
10 years. 10 years. We've gone through 10 years with first year 150 nonprofits.
Yes.
Now all the way up to 575 nonprofits and donors that stuck with us, stuck together, worked together through COVID. When we all closed down in March, and in May, we launched our first totally virtual Midlands Gives.
Which was amazing.
Amazing.
We were like, how is that going to work? But it worked.
It worked. It went
Shout
over.
out to Chris behind the scenes, because he's the man who makes it work.
He did. And it went over $1 million higher than the year prior. And every year we say, how can we do this? But it's not we doing it, Judy. It's us doing it.
It is us.
It's the entire community. We are the only community in all the giving days that I know of across the country with community foundations that is truly a community all play, and has been since
From
the
the
first
very
year,
beginning.
2014. All the broadcast companies coming together, corporations coming together to provide incentive prizes, nonprofits supporting each other. You know, just community coming together and celebrating that together. We've raised close to $23 million.
Wow. Wow.
23, almost 24.
That's amazing. And the numbers still, look at all of our photos and stuff from earlier today. We had such a great time with the nonprofits.
Oh, that was a reminiscent today of, you know, what were we like way back then.
Yes.
And then the interviews today with, this one was AFLAC and some of, again, our wonderful folks. Mike Brennan and Truist with our milestone prizes.
I know, outstanding.
Always fun. I mean, all these incentives to get folks to go, and Michelle and Elizabeth Encrow Johnson from Blue Cross talking about the importance of board service, which you know really, really well. And then our team turning over that $3.5 million milestone, thinking, how the heck did we get here with 7 hours to go?
I know.
Yeah, it just goes so fast. And look at you there, Judy.
Listen, we were so excited this morning, kicking it off with Keller and the Dominion family, and my goodness, $50,000, you know, $2,000 each to 25 different nonprofits. And you know what? When he gave me goosebumps. I mean, all of them were so worthy and deserving. But when he's at the Cecil Williams Museum in Orangeburg, because I know the heart that Mr. Williams has had. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it is so good. And again, my question to you is,
I got
I know it brings you to tears. I know.
Sorry, y'all.
So no worries.
Yes, your question.
No, it is. How do you look so fresh at 6 and still look so fresh at 11 o'clock at night?
Listen.
This must be magic.
No, this is not magic.
I want some of this Judi Gatson magic.
This is Mama Power Naps.
Well, I think it's also
Mama
the
Power Naps.
wonderful, wonderful heart for giving that you have.
Well, you know what? It's what Midlands Gives is all about. It gives you that energy and that excitement. And just looking at the way, I was looking for the numbers that were coming on. and asking everybody on.
Here we go, 4.223.
There it is. Yeah, there's that number. Amanda says, today has been an amazing day for the Fidelis Family Retreat. Thank you so much to the Carolina Community Foundation and for giving such a wonderful platform for our nonprofits in the Midlands to showcase their organizations. I was asking everybody on Facebook Live to share information about your nonprofits because, yes, the fundraising is important, but it's also about raising awareness for these organizations. And to be able to do that and share the information, Chris, thank you so much. This is just, and I have a whole cup full of water. It just,
Just make it sure.
just comes out of nowhere sometimes. But I just wanted to thank everybody. Yes, Mama Power Naps, love it. But, you know, you were talking about 10 years. It has been such an honor for WIS. WIS 10 and 10 years. You get it? 10 on 10. But when you think about your vision at the outset, I mean, and you look at where we are now, I mean, I got to imagine it far exceeds, Joanne. I mean, and I know, listen, you all have had a big vision from the very beginning, but my goodness, look at where we are.
We did not know what to expect when we came back from the Knight Foundation meeting. And Haygood Tai, who was our board chair, and I talked to the board about bringing Midlands Gives here. And we had heard stories, and one of the 3 that had been piloted giving days with community foundations had raised $1 million. And Haygood said to our board, I don't know if we'll get there, but anything that we can raise will be good for community.
Right.
And now, 10 years later,
Yes.
we're 4 times that $1 million that we thought was such a stretch. And in fact, we 0.5 in the second year. 0.5 in the second year.
Wow.
In the second year. But
Wow.
company, broadcast companies like WIS said, we don't know what it is,
Right.
but we'll trust you.
Right,
Let's
right.
give it a go and
Let's give it
see
a
how
shot.
this works.
Yeah.
And the nonprofits, again, we got 150 that were brave. They were like, what are we doing? Because social media 10 years ago
Right.
wasn't social media
Nearly what it is
today.
now. Right.
No,
right.
it was mostly email campaigns, and I think people were still calling.
Calling,
people.
yes, they
I think
were.
That's
They
when
were.
people still picked up a telephone. You know, now if you look down and it's nope.
Right.
No.
Right.
So yes, but it's just good. But again, everyone here can help. Everyone's still watching. We still have an hour, more than an hour to go, and we have a power hour coming up.
Oh, that's right.
At 11 o'clock.
Yes, yes, yes.
We have the final AFLAC Power Hour, where there will be awards to the large, medium, and small budget